Good morning class. Today's lecture is of hypermetropia. In previous lecture we have seen the optics of the eye and then refractive error, myopia. So before going to the hypermetropia, let's revise what is accommodation. Accommodation is the mechanism by which we can focus diverging rays coming from near object on retina to see clearly. There occurs an increase in the power of crystalline lens due to change in shape of lens because of contraction of ciliary muscle. So what is emmetropia? Is a state of refraction where parallel rays of light coming from the infinity are focused on the retina when accommodation is at rest. That means it is absence of any refractive error. In this diagram we can see various types of refractive error and emmetropia. In emmetropia there is diagram B where image and focus is on retina. In case of hypermetropia, image is focused behind the retina, and in case of myopia, image is focused in front of retina. Then what is ametropia? Is a state of refraction where parallel rays coming from light either focused in front or behind the retina. That means it is condition of refractive error. It includes myopia, hypermetropia, and astigmatism. In previous lecture we have seen myopia. Now we'll see hypermetropia. So what is hypermetropia? Is also called as long-sightedness, and myopia is short-sightedness. So it is opposite to the myopia, where parallel rays coming from the infinity are focused behind the retina when accommodation is at rest. In this diagram we can see the rays are focused behind the retina. So what are the etiologies for hypermetropia? So according to etiologies may be axial hypermetropia, curvatural hypermetropia, index hypermetropia, then positional hypermetropia, and lastly aphakia. So what is axial? That is axial shortening of the eyeball, that is anterior posterior axial length of the eyeball is short. So 1 mm shortening of the anterior posterior diameter of the eye results in the 3 diopters of hypermetropia. What is curvatural? There is curvature of the cornea and lens or both are flatter than the normal, resulting in a decrease in refractive power of the eye. So 1 mm increase in the radius of curvature as results in a 6 diopters of hypermetropia. Then index hypermetropia is due to the decrease in the refractive index of the lens in old age. Then positional means results from the posteriorly placed crystalline lens. What is aphakia? Aphakia is absence of crystalline lens either congenitally or acquired. In acquired you can see that surgical removal, then posterior dislocation. Also there is one entity called a condition of high hypermetropia. Then what are the clinical types of hypermetropia? Hypermetropia may be simple, pathological or functional. Simple includes axial and curvature hypermetropia. In pathological it may be congenital or acquired. In congenital there are various defects in the eye such as microcornea, there is small size of microcornea, then microphthalmos, small size of eyeball, then congenital aphakia, that is absence of the crystalline lens, and congenital posterior dislocation of the lens. These are the congenital pathology. Then acquired may be due to senile, that is due to aging process. Then positional, there is posterior displacement of the lens. Aphakia, there is absence of the lens. Then consecutive hypermetropia, and previous myopia is corrected by surgically and this leads to the consecutive hypermetropia. Then some retrobulbar orbital tumors can lead to the pathological hypermetropia. And then lastly functional hypermetropia. It is due to the paralysis of the accommodation seen in the paralysis of the third nerve, that is oculomotor nerve. This is the difference in the axial length of the eyeballs. In emmetropia you can see the image is focused on the retina, then myopia axial length is more than emmetropia, so image is focused in front of the retina. In hyperopia or hypermetropia, eyeball is short, so image is focused behind the retina. Then there are some entities regarding the hypermetropia. So what is total hypermetropia? It is the total amount of refractive error which is estimated after complete cycloplegia with atrophy. What is cycloplegia? Cycloplegia is the paralysis of the ciliary muscle, which is important for accommodation. So with the help of atropine, cycloplegia is achieved and then amount of refractive error is estimated. So it includes latent hypermetropia and second manifest. So what is latent? It is hypermetropia about one diopter which is normally corrected by the inherent tone of the ciliary muscle. And what is manifest? That is remaining hypermetropia which is not corrected by the tone of ciliary muscle, which includes facultative and absolute. So facultative means it is corrected by the accommodative effect. First is latent means it is the inherent tone, and it is facultative means it is active accommodation effect which corrects the facultative hypermetropia. Then absolute which cannot be corrected by the accommodative effect. So in short, total hypermetropia includes latent and manifest consists of the facultative and absolute hypermetropia. What are the clinical features? So there are symptoms like some patient may be asymptomatic, there is no any symptom. Then asthenopic symptoms with good visual acuity. So here patient can accommodate, or due to the ciliary muscle tone, patient is able to see the objects, but due to the constant fatigue of the ciliary muscle, there are some symptoms called as asthenopic symptoms. There is tiredness of the eye, frontal and frontotemporal headache, and watering, mild photophobia, which is associated with the near work and increases toward the evening. Then some patient may have defective vision with asthenopic symptoms, which is seen in high hypermetropia. That is, amount of hypermetropia is more, so patient cannot accommodate her, so to see the clear object. Also due to the constant accommodation, there is asthenopic symptoms. And lastly, there may be defective vision only without any asthenopic symptoms. When amount of hypermetropia is very high, patients usually do not accommodate, especially adults. This occurs in relative marked defective vision or near and distance. So amount of hypermetropia is very high, so it cannot be corrected by accommodation, is seen in adults. Then what are the signs? Signs are eyeball is smaller and cornea is smaller than the normal, anterior chamber is shallow. In fundus examination, you can see the small optic disc which is reddish and ill-defined margins are seen, which simulate the papillitis. It is known as pseudopapillitis. Papillitis means the edema of the optic disc. So here edema is not there, but due to the smaller disc and ill-defined margins, it appears as having papillitis. Then retina on whole shine brighter than normal. It is known as short silk appearance, which is due to the increased brightness of the retina. Then on retinoscopy and autorefractometry reveals the hypermetropic refractive error. Then A scan shows the short anterior posterior axial length. In grading, it may be low hypermetropia less than 2 diopters. Then moderate hypermetropia is 2 to 5 diopters. Then high hypermetropia which is equal to or more than 5 diopters. So what are the complications? Recurrent styes, blepharitis chalazion may occur due to the constant rubbing of the eyes due to the strain of the eye. So in children, it may present as a accommodative convergence squint due to the excessive use of accommodation to see the clear near objects. Then some children may have amblyopia, that is defective vision, but there is no any structural problem in the eye. So it may be anisometropia, that means refractive error in the both eyes have difference than the 2 diopters. When eye with a high refractive error has low vision. Then strabismic due to the squinting eye develops a low vision. Then ametropic, that is bilateral high refractive error, that is high hypermetropia, can lead to the defective vision, which is cannot be corrected with the glasses. Then predisposition to develop primary angle closure glaucoma. As angle is shallow, so there are chances to develop angle closure glaucoma. Notice treatment. So it is corrected by the convex lens. It can be either in spectacles or contact lens form. So spectacles are most comfortable, safe and easy method of correcting hypermetropia. And contact lenses can be used, which is indicated in especially unilateral hypermetropia. As one eye is having no any refractive or less refractive and one eye having hypermetropia. In that case, glasses, spectacles are not compatible. In that case, we can use contact lens. Also for cosmetic reasons, as the high hypermetropic glasses are thick glasses, so for the cosmetic reason we can use contact lens in that patient. And there are some general rules for prescribing glasses in hypermetropia. Always total amount of hypermetropia should be discovered by performing cycloplegia. If total manifest error is small, then correction is done only if patient is symptomatic. It is less than one diopter or half diopter. And spherical aberrations given should be comfortably accepted by the patient. So acceptance should be checked. For children less than 4 years, you have to give full cycloplegic refraction. In older children, first undercorrect glasses and then gradually increase at 6 months interval till the patient accepts manifest hypermetropia. But in case of squint, there is in exodeviation, there is eyeball turned outwards, it should be undercorrected. And in case of convergent squint, there is eyeball turned inwards, full correction should be given at first second. If it is associated with amblyopia, full correction and occlusion therapy should be started. So these are various cycloplegic drug used for the cycloplegic diffraction in children. So this may be atropine, hometropine, cyclopentolate, and tropicamide and phenylephrine are non-cycloplegic. Then coming to the surgical treatment. So there are corneal based and lens based procedure. In corneal based we can have thermal laser keratoplasty, then hyperopic PRK means photorefractive keratotomy, then hyperopic LASIK, this is the laser surgery, then conductive keratoplasty. These are the options in corneal based surgeries. Then lens based procedures may be phakic IOL and refractive lens exchange. In phakic IOL, above the normal crystalline lens, one more lens is inserted in the eye according to the refractive error. Then refractive lens exchange, we have to remove the crystalline lens and then exchange with the another power lens. Then coming to the aphakia. Aphakia means absence of the crystalline lens. So it produces high degree of hypermetropia because total power of the eye is reduced. Then causes may be congenital, surgical, traumatic, posterior dislocation, and absorption of lens matter in hypermature cataract. Then optics. Optics of aphakia, there is hypermetropia is high degree. The total power of eye is plus 44 instead of 60 because power due to the lens is not there. So only corneal power is there. Then accommodation is lost fully. Anterior focal point is 23.2 mm in front and posterior focal point is 31 mm behind the cornea. In clinical picture symptoms, there is defective vision both for near and far vision. Then some patient may have erythropsia and synopsia. There is seen red and blue images. This is the absence of the lens which absorb the ultraviolet rays, and so there is no absorption of the rays, so it lead to the erythropsia and synopsia. Then signs may be limbal scar which may be suggestive of any surgical procedure. It is surgical aphakia. Then deep anterior chamber. Then iridodonesis, jet black pupil is jet black color. Then Purkinje images show only two. Normally 4 images are there, but in case of aphakia only 2 images are seen. Then fundus is hypermetropic and small disc is seen. On retinoscopy we can show high hypermetropia. So in treatment option there may be spectacles, contact lens, intraocular lens and refractive corneal surgeries. So this table shows the advantages and disadvantages of the various options. So spectacles are most commonly used previously before invention of intraocular lens. Disadvantage that image is magnified, problem of aberrations, prismatic effect of thick glasses, and roving ring scotoma. Whereas peripheral field patients is scotoma. There is loss of field in the periphery. Then contact lens have less magnification, better wide field effect, and uniocular aphakia is the indication to use the contact lens. But these are expensive and cumbersome in older age and children. Then there may be corneal complications like infection of the cornea, keratitis, corneal ulcer may develop if it not properly used. Then IOL implant, that is intraocular lens, artificial intraocular lens is implanted, which is the best method and more physiological method, which has less disadvantages. Then we can go for the refractive corneal surgery like keratophakia, epithelial keratophakia, then hyperplasia. Then coming to the presbyopia is not a refractive error, but a physiological condition where there is insufficiency of the accommodation leading to the progressive fall in near vision, which is age related, seen in after 40 years of age, where there is decrease in the amplitude of accommodation. What are the causes? There is age-related changes in the lens, which include decrease in the elasticity of lens, and progressive increase in size and hardness, that is sclerosis of the lens substance. Then age-related decline in the ciliary muscle power, which may contribute. Then causes of premature presbyopia, that is before 40 years of age, seen in uncorrected hypermetropia. Then premature sclerosis of the crystalline lens. Then general debility causing presenile weakness of the ciliary muscle, and chronic simple glaucoma can develop in the premature presbyopia. What are the symptoms? There is difficulty in near vision, especially difficulty in reading small prints. So start in the evening in dim light and later even in good light. Also there is difficulty in near work like threading the needle. Then astronomic symptoms due to the fatigue of the ciliary muscle, complaint after reading or doing any near work. Treatment option: in optical treatment, prescription of appropriate convex glasses for near work can be given, convex glasses. Then presbyopic spectacles may have unifocal, bifocal or multifocal. So along with presbyopia, patient is having other refractor is hypermetropia and myopia, then we have to do bifocal lenses, or recently we can give multifocal lenses. If patient is having only presbyopia, then we have to put unifocal lenses which can be used only for near work. So rough guideline for using giving the presbyopic glasses according to age. At age of 40 we give plus 1 diopter spectacles, then at 45 we can use 1.5 diopter, at 50 age 2 diopters, and 55 to 60 2.5. However, the presbyopic addition should be estimated individually in each eye in order to determine the how much necessary for the comfortable range. In basic principle, let's always find the refractive error for distance first and then correct it. It should be corrected first, then find the presbyopic correction needed in each eye, and it should be added in distance correction. Then near point should be fixed by taking into consideration of the profession of the patient, then to avoid overcorrection as it will also lead to the asthenic symptoms.